To have smooth business operations, it's absolutely necessity to have a daily huddle. But how should you actually do it? What are the specific things that you should be talking about in this meeting? That's what I'm going to be covering in this video. And if you're using some tools like Asana, then I will give you specific steps how to run the daily huddle using Asana. Hit the thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. So daily synchronization, which will be about how to use Asana for the daily huddle. So this is not only about the daily huddle, but how you can actually use Asana to organize it all. So I don't know how many is currently using Asana, but it definitely has its perks. And the more basically the more complex work you have, the more you will have need to add more tools to support your working methods. Because basically, I mean, if you're just doing really simple things, then I mean, we don't need any tools, right? Let's say that you're working alone and you have just let's say a whiteboard in your room, then, or maybe some other person there. Like if everyone would be working in the same place, then we wouldn't really have to have the need for any kind of tools, because it would be just very easy to just communicate and break down things. And when there's like dependencies, then things get more complicated. So that adds another like additional level of complexity. And then we have another level of complexity because we are all working remotely. There's that's why there's basically need to start having different kinds of tools. So let's talk about this. But first of all, I'm basically repeating myself, but I mean, I have always said that, I mean, daily huddle, daily call, I mean, that's one of the most important calls you can have. And it doesn't matter. I mean, you don't need to even have a team. If it's just you with your business partner, then, I mean, you should definitely have this. And when Victor and I started in 2014, I mean, this is what I immediately made for us. So we started doing these daily huddles and weekly planning and all that kind of stuff. But basically, I mean, let's say that you would be working alone, then I would still make this daily huddle, because I would basically try to get some kind of accountability buddy who would at least just listen to me talk about these different things, because then that would just make me accountable for actually getting things done. So because typically we as human beings, I mean, we tend to judge others by the outcome, but ourselves we judge by the intent. Yeah, I was intending to do it. Yeah, I had the intent to finish it, but yeah, something came up. So we give much more slack to ourselves. So that's something that, in order to avoid that, we need to have certain things like the daily huddle in place. So this means that it's a daily meeting, daily call with partners or team. So this means that every member is basically informed and aligned on the work that needs to be done during the work, but during the week. But it's not a status meeting. It's not status where because it's much more than just a status meeting. It's more like synchronization and collaboration. So I have never, in my own company, in my own teams, had a daily call that would be just a status meeting where basically everyone would just show up that, hey, yeah, these are the things that I did today, and then leave. No, it's always about collaboration. Like someone is saying that, hey, I need help with this. I need some ideas with this. I need to brainstorm about this topic in questions. Like, can you guys help me because I'm stuck currently with this? So that's the point. It's not about status. And key thing is really, I mean, have it maximum 15 minutes, because if it goes 20 minutes, 40 minutes, 1 hour, then I mean, it's just way too much. So I mean, get it done within 15 minutes. and then afterwards you can talk about the details, and then the people who don't need to hear the discussion can just leave the call, and then only the people involved will have the detailed discussions. So 50 minutes maximum. Any kind of discussion that does not need every participant, that will be done afterwards. But even if it involves everyone, you should still do the rounds quickly in 15 minutes and then do it afterwards. Yeah. So why do we need to have this? I mean, it's absolute necessity as this company grows. And basically, I mean, the more company grows, the more you as the business owner alienate from the daily operations. And so which means that you're probably going to be getting like more people. There's more people involved, there's more products involved, so there's more markets, so everything just becomes more complicated. And it's a really good way to start the day productively. So ideally, it should be the first thing in the morning, but I mean, with different kind of time zones, like for me right now, since I'm in Dubai, so, and the team is in the Philippines, so basically for them it's not in the morning, it's like past noon or even like afternoon. So it really enforces accountability, and for your team it also gives this peer pressure. So when there's peer pressure, there's this kind of pressure that, okay, you need to get this stuff done. Like when you say that I'm going to be doing this, I'm going to achieve this before tomorrow, and then tomorrow comes and then you're in the call, so you definitely, I mean, nobody wants to say that, yeah, I just didn't get it done. Everyone, typically every human being wants to do a good job. So it will actually hurt people more, like not doing it than actually doing it. I mean, emotionally. And yeah, point is to remove impediments, remove roadblocks, and there's always issues coming up. So this is an excellent way how to get a grip of the situation, like what's going on with the team. Yeah, and typically, I mean, when you hear issues, then I mean, once you write those down, then that's going to be good insight for the weekly planning then. So it definitely it increases clarity and more focus, which means more power. But yeah, and anyway, I mean, we have already established that, hey, we need to do daily huddles, but why should we use Asana for the daily? Well, here's a couple of reasons. So first of all, you get this, everything is at one place, and there's just one view, and then it's just easier to track different things. So it makes, if you're using Asana as task management tool, then having the Asana, I mean, having the daily there gives you this good tool in order to build the communication and all that stuff. So it's really quick to add new tasks, new comments, and whatever you need to do. But anyway, let's discuss two different scenarios. So two different teams that we have, and how they actually use Asana for the daily huddle, because it's different with different teams. I mean, for us, so I could just tell you how we are doing it. So let's take first the product team. So product team is the one that is basically working with those everything related with the products. So that means stuff that happens on Amazon, like on supply chain and whatever. So the structure that we have is that some of this applies for all our teams, but some of this is just product team specific. But let's first talk only about the product team. So first thing that we always talk about is these core values, because that that really has big impact on the company culture. And if you ignore this, then your culture is just going to be, your company is not going to live the values that you want them to have if you don't do this. So as soon as we just started doing this, like adding the core values to the daily huddle, it immediately had a pretty big impact. Indrek is asking what do we use for the daily huddle? Is it Skype or Zoom? Typically we've been using Skype and just the audio call. So we don't really have the need to see each other's faces all the time. So we are not using like video calls. It's just an audio call on Skype. So first thing is to go through these core values. So we have 5 core values, and I recommend for you that don't have more than 5 core values. So how it works is that some person selects one core values and is explaining to other people that, hey, I'm like acting on this core value by doing this or by doing that. So they are giving examples what they have done lately to basically follow the abide the core value, and then they select someone else to like give an explanation as well. So point is that they need to give examples of that what are they doing currently in order to like demonstrate that they are abiding these core values. And then next thing is urgent issues. So let's say on that there might be some issue with shipment or on Amazon or something else, then this would be immediately brought up there. Then any kind of wins that people are having, any kind of losses or issues, stock updates. So this is really important with the product team. So they need to know like what is happening with the stock in terms of the orders and everything, and any kind of life cycle updates, because typically, like, one person is not doing everything for the related with the product, so it involves multiple different people. So that means that I'm going to be having handover for some other person. So let's say that I'm doing like keyword research and then moving the like product to a different person. Then I need to make sure that the other person knows that I have done my part. So now it's like your turn to do something. And same thing would be like from one team to another. Like if there's one different team involved, they need to know about it. So that's why it's really about communication and making sure that as soon as there's change in the product life cycle, so that the product has moved from a different step to another, everyone needs to know about this. Then finally, the final thing is to to tell the task for the today. And all this, it might seem like a lot, but it's just going to take like a couple of minutes. And remember that it's just 15 minutes that we have in use. So if one person takes 5 minutes, then you only have 10 minutes left. So it has to be in this fast-paced movement. And it's a good practice to quickly go through the daily huddle, make sure that it stays in 15 minutes. And then after the daily huddle, we can have free discussions, like someone is saying something about some area product or something that they want to share with others. But first, quickly go through the daily huddle. And this is to make sure that because otherwise, if you don't do this, then you are eventually going to start hearing that this daily huddle is a complete waste of time. Like yesterday I spent like 1 hour, and I'm all like most of the time, I mean, I'm stuck in meetings, so I don't have any time for the actual work. So in order to avoid it, I mean, this daily huddle has to move quickly and only last for 15 minutes. Yeah, so first thing are these core values, and these are the core values that we have defined for our company. So 5 different values, and I definitely recommend that for everyone. I mean, just take a moment to sit down and think about like what are the things that you value and what kind of behavior you want to see in your company, and then just write them down. And it's perfectly fine if you just copy our values in the beginning, because you need to have something to start with, and then once you figure out more that, hey, what are there, for example, behaviors that I want to people, my team, my employees to demonstrate, then you just add a core value that directly like addresses that thing. And basically, the first time we wrote core values, I remember, I mean, we were looking at different companies. I think we stole some of the values from Sappos, so the shoe company. I think they had deliver wow, but then I just like rephrase it, that it's not just about delivering wow in terms of products or whatever. It's about basically deliver wow in everything. So whenever someone delivers, let's say, presentation or some kind of outcome that they had, then I mean, I always ask them, okay, I mean, so are you delivering wow? Is this the best you can do? Typically no, and they go back to it and just improve. So this is a really good way how to set up high standards for your people. Then second thing, this is actually the most important thing in terms of behavior, is this take responsibility. So it's a responsibility process by Christopher Avery. So I really want that everyone like would be obsessed about this taking responsibility, because if everyone is taking responsibility, then I mean you will have zero issues in the company, because everyone is just behaving perfectly, and it's just beautiful. So this is why we have it in our core values, and we have to emphasize it all the time, because it's so easy for the mind just to deny, label, aim, justify, aim, obligation, responsibility, and those things. And then third thing that I see as really super important, that you shouldn't just drive change, you should drive like positive change, and it's about learning. So I expect that every person, every employee is actually actively learning. So this means going through courses, reading books, studying different things. So I expect you to constantly improve yourself. And for example, when we have this one role like Amazon problem solver, so I expect that person is like part of all different kinds of Amazon like communities, Facebook groups, and all that stuff. I expect that she's constantly like improving herself in this area, and really becoming master in making sure that she knows the latest changes that are happening on Amazon. So if there's a new requirement regarding something that has to do with our products, so I mean, if it's something that we don't care about, I mean, why that's not a problem. But I mean, if it's something related with our products, then I mean, she needs to know that. And then collaborate openly and honestly. So I expect that everyone talks to me like or talks with each other, like has frank that has this really like direct communication. And if they are having any kind of issues or they're worried about something, they should definitely like bring it up. And you can do this even with Filipinos in the Philippine culture, because I mean, Philippine culture, that's very like, it's more collective. And if you think about an average behavior in the Philippines, I mean, they definitely don't want to, they are not necessarily taking responsibility, meaning in terms of that they don't want to admit it if they don't know something or if they made a mistake. But just keep in mind this: there's like 100 million people in the Philippines, so you can really find these people who are like different, who are not like common, who are not basically demonstrating these typical Philippine behaviors, but are instead more like, let's say, more like Finnish behavior, which means that it's a really straightforward communication and direct and not afraid of criticism. So you can do this, and it's just about like setting this expectation for this behavior, and then commit to mastery. I mean, that's the same thing basically, or similar thing, that they always need to improve their skills. But yeah, let's move on. So in terms of
may I ask one question regarding or related a little bit? How about the culture in, as you said, in Philippines, and how is it, or how much it is similar in China? Point of view with communicating with the supplier who are basically selling.
Yeah, so they are both so they are both Asian cultures, so they are more similar than Western, but I mean there are still big difference between Chinese and Philippine. So I think the key thing is that you really, with Chinese suppliers, you have to be really clear on setting your expectation and setting your requirements. And I already forgot what was the term in Chinese regarding business, but anyway, it means that it's about relationships. So Chinese culture really values like relationships in terms of doing business.
How about the directness? Do they appreciate if I say that something that Finnish people would talk in sauna between guys? Is it like, or
yes, yeah, so it's not
extra polite and never point out any mistakes, but indirectly say something, or is it like that, or is it direct that, you know, this sucks? Or
well, I mean, you can. It's more direct than Philippines, but still, I can tell you a good example is that who was it again? Anyway, I remember like one Amazon seller was doing changes in the packaging, so he was doing like putting a lot of work on making it a beautiful packaging. So I mean, it looked much better, but what in the end, what happened is that, I mean, when they started like manufacturing those, then the case was that, okay, the packaging was ready and everything was ready to ship. So then he's asking for this like organizing shipment, and so he gets the price for the shipping, and it's like much higher than it was originally. So he was asking the supplier, oh my god, like why is this so expensive? Like it's much more than the initial estimation. So then the supplier asked, well, I mean, you changed the packaging. And it was like, Yeah, but why didn't you tell me that it's going to be this much more expensive? Well, you didn't ask. Touché. So if you don't ask those things, then they are not going to tell you. So that's a good example how you have to take the responsibility in really making sure that that you have figured out all the different things that you need to know in terms of the cost and all that stuff. So yeah.
Okay, thanks, Tony. This is very related to our current situation as we are planning the package at the moment. So
Yeah.
I will have to ask some.
So make sure to follow the dimensions.
Yeah.
Can I also comment?
Sure.
Hi. This subject really touches my soul as well, because I like to have my products like very beautiful and designed, and I also like put a lot of effort into packaging. And with one product what will be ready by next week most probably, or next week, one new product, I definitely made a choice to waste money on a packaging. And why I did it is because I really think that it helps me to stand out from a competition, because also with a product that I'm currently selling, I'm unfortunately out of stock by the end of day, but that is not relevant currently. I'm almost the only one who has a packaging box, who has like a gift box. Everyone else comes within like a PVC bag. So I really think that it stands out. And for example, the product will be ready next week. The package makes this packaging box makes it the product much heavier, because it's like quite a big box and like a strong box. But this is done because I want to promote the product, but the packaging box can be used later on as a memory box for keeping like children, like important things inside it. And I want to also promote it on a listing that you can use this box later on. And I really think that I'm able to get more money because of that and cover that additional cost of shipping. But it's just like my approach. I just wanted to comment.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. Like let's say that the product has already proven itself, meaning that it is something that you're going to be selling for for quite some time. So I mean, at that stage, it definitely makes sense that you start improving the packaging, because as you mentioned, it's a good way to differentiate and really stand out. And if you have impressive packaging, it will immediately increase perceived value, which also means that eventually, I mean, you can charge higher price as well. But basically, only thing in packaging is that you just need to make sure that it doesn't increase the shipping costs too much, because if it's the dimensions are higher, then shipping cost is going to be higher, which was the case in the example that I mentioned.
In my case, the size of a product and the size of a box are pretty much the same, but the weight is different. But in Amazon business, this they have these packaging tiers, or how they call them. I think the size is only thing what matters.
Yes.
So don't you agree? No?
What?
I understand that Amazon takes a fee based on a size of a box, not the weight of a box.
Yeah, but I mean in shipping, when you ship from the supplier.
Yeah, I
Amazon.
understand the shipping, like shipping cartons from China to US. Yes, it will be higher. Yes, but yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and it all depends on what your profit margin on. Profit margin is, I mean, if it's not an issue, then I mean just do as impressive packaging as you can. And typically, I mean, the packaging itself, it's not going to really cost that much, meaning because I mean, it's just like cardboard. So it's just, it's more about this, okay, how much it's going to ship those things. So that's more of a
It still adds cost, like more than $1, because like all the competitors, for example, for the product I will launch soon, they only send it in a poly bag. They don't have any packaging at all. But I really think that.
So do you mean that the packaging per item costs you $1?
Yeah, like a packaging box costs like more than $1, a little bit more than $1.
Yeah, I mean, in that case, you should definitely. I mean, are you already working with a printing company?
My boxes are already made. If you if you have this question, but what you wanted to ask?
Yeah, I meant that. I mean, $1 per box per packaging. I mean, that's pretty high, but of course it depends on.
It's like 42 centimeters and 34 centimeters, like a big box.
Yeah. All right.
So yes, but I still think that I can cover this $1+ with a higher price.
Yeah. It's just about making the calculations and being sure that you will still like remain profitable.
I can never know before I start selling. That I also know.
Yeah, I mean, there can always be surprises. That's normal. So need to account for those. But yeah, so in terms of the sharing, I mean, team members say that are there any urgent issues, any wins, losses, stock updates, life cycle updates. So how it looks on Asana is like when you log in, then you see this homepage. So you see your like priorities, projects, and so on that you have set for today. But when you go today, then you have the tasks that have been basically assigned for you that and are in the nearest future. So this means that these are tasks that have to be done either today, tomorrow, or then they are those recurring things. So what our product team does is that they typically show this like task for today. So I mean, this is what I have for today. So these are the different things that they have listed here. So different tasks. And because they are tasks, then that means that they can have different kinds of dependencies and different kinds of sequences and all that stuff, like that the Asana makes possible. So basically, we can take a look at the different teams. So this is a marketing team, and they are not really doing anything that complicated, meaning that they don't have, I mean, of course, so what they do, I mean, there's also like sequences and they do projects, but it's much more simple than what their product teams do. So for that reason, they are doing things differently. So basically here we can see that they don't have these tasks listed as separately, because you just need to consider that, okay, what is the benefit? Like basically, yeah, sure. I mean, if you have 10 tasks, then you can create 10 different tasks. But in this case, the team is just using like the one area where they just write their tasks. And often, especially with VAs, it can be like completely random things. And if you're going to be creating like different tasks for every single task item, then it means that you're going to be having much more like tasks there. And it's not really a point to, our point is not to add as many tasks there and add clutter. In the opposite, it's more of the point is to make things clear. So here we can see that there's different questions here. So first question is like, what have you accomplished yesterday? So then there is this one area for all the team members. So we can see that there's 3 different team members here, John, Anna, David, and they are all writing their items here. What have you accomplished yesterday? So it's just an area where they write that these are the different things that I worked before the call. And then we go to the next area. So here they are basically like one at a turn, one person at a time, like goes through all of these. So first, John says that, hey, this is stuff that I accomplished yesterday. And key thing is like really accomplished, meaning that it was finished. So it was some kind of like concrete outcome. So it wasn't just doing some a little bit of this and answering some emails or whatever. It has to be something like when you phrase it like this, it will like make people to think that, oh, okay, it's like accomplishment. It's not just some random thing. And then third area is the puzzles. And I would say, I mean, this is basically in this case with the marketing team, I mean, this is most important thing, because they are always having different kinds of puzzles. And if someone doesn't have any quest, or if someone doesn't have anything that's puzzling them, I mean, then they're just not thinking, okay? There's always has to be some things that you are not really sure about. And when they talk about these things, then that's basically when the discussion starts. Like I'm wondering like how to do this thing in the funnel, or I'm wondering like what kind of copywriting I should do. I'm wondering, are these images good enough? So can you take a look? Like, what do you think about this? So that's when you get like the benefit of that. It's really a team. It's not just everyone working on their own, which would be like a status meeting. So this is not a status meeting. It's more about collaboration and synchronization. So yeah, the benefits of using Asana for this daily huddle are these, or actually not just daily huddle, in general of using Asana, is that dependencies between tasks and projects. For example, different product lifecycle on Amazon. And I would say that basically, if I think about these two different themes, then I mean, the work that this marketing team does, I mean, it's pretty straightforward, and they don't have any like massive projects that would take 6 months. No, it's maybe a couple of weeks or something like this. So it's pretty easy to follow. So they wouldn't necessarily even have to use Asana. But with the product teams and with Amazon teams, I mean, I would say, yeah, definitely, because there's so much dependencies and so on. And then being able to break down these different projects and different tasks, that's really a huge benefit. Doing these different kind of checklists and this multi-level, meaning that you can have like a bigger project there that you basically then break down to like sub-projects and tasks and checklists and different kind of things. So that's what really gives the benefit on benefits on why do you use Asana? Because if you don't need a tool, then don't use it. So it's only about like when things go more complex, then we need to have tools that are able to support that work. And yeah, it's pretty easy, or I mean, it's pretty handy that everything is at one place. So that's definitely good thing on Asana. And then it's easy to delegate, follow up, and communicate, meaning that if you can have these discussions on task level, for example, task level or higher level, and then you can tag different members, and you can basically keep all the communication there. So it's pretty handy. All right, any questions regarding doing Daily Huddle on Asana or in general about Asana?
How long do you think using Asana is going to take in an organization before everybody learns the habits?
I mean, if you have a good system that is easy to understand, I mean, so that it's logical and so on, it doesn't take long. So for us, issue for us has been that, we have to do everything ourselves. I mean, we have to figure out that what makes most sense in our case with the kind of business that we have, because there wasn't any kind of blueprint that, hey, this is how to use Asana for, let's say, for Amazon business. So basically, we had to study it, hire some experts to help us, Asana experts, and talking with them and finding the best ways how to use, so that Asana supports us and it's not the other way around. So that our work would be as smooth as possible. So I mean, once we figured out a good system, then it's more matter of just weeks in training everyone how to use Asana and onboard them and all that stuff, so that they get the hang of it. And for Amazon business, I mean, we have used so many different tools. We have tried out so many different project management and task management tools, and so far Asana has been able to give us the best kind of support that we need. I mean, from the tool itself, that that we are able to customize it for our systems instead of the other way around. Hit a thumbs up if you like this video, and let me know how have you been using Asana and how have you been doing the Daily Huddle. If you want my help on building your Amazon business, then just sign up to get my free training, and also book a call with me so we can talk about how we can help your business. Talk to you soon.